Welcome to the Inspired by Christopher podcast, man. This is the Inspired by Christopher podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Robinson. Man, we bike. We bike, man. This podcast is brought to you by me. Yeah, I'm the one that paid for these mics. I'm the one that paid for all this, man. This backdrop, everything, man. Check this out, man. Go grab my book, Defeating the Struggle, Journal Entries of a Conqueror, available now on Amazon. And you could get that from my website, InspiredByChristopher.com, where you can find this podcast. Also, subscribe to my podcast, man. Subscribe to the free feed and subscribe to my Patreon. And coming soon, subscribe to my my Apple podcast, because I looked at my stats and the majority of my listeners listen from Apple devices. So it only makes sense for me to have a paid subscription through Apple when that's available. Check this out, man. I'm loving this podcast space. I've did one before, man, or I've done one before, excuse me. And I'm bike, man. I love it, man. It's a way for me to vent. It's a way for me to get out my thoughts. And man, that's just where I'm at, man. I really love it. Now check this out. Every week, as y'all know, I'm gonna be dropping these podcasts consistently. The way my podcast is set up right now is I drop the plan when I originally started was to drop one free episode a month, then drop like a 10 to 15 minute free clip of an episode, and you get the full episode available on Patreon. I think I'm going to do it a little differently. I think I'm going to give away 4 free episodes a month. Now, I'm not committed. Just subscribe and follow, and you'll see what I'm gonna do. But to my listeners, man, I want to holler at y'all, let you know what I'm gonna do, or what I plan on doing. And if you have any suggestions or something you would like to see, man, feel free to let me know. But what I think I'm going to do is drop these, every Sunday, give the people a free episode, and then do 2 extra episodes a month. So in total, I would drop 6 episodes, but 2 of them would be paid subscription episodes. And I want to try to do monthly themed podcasts. Now I'm going to explain that a little more. Just go with me. In this podcast space, man, you just kind of go and try to make things make sense, man. You're figuring things out on the fly. Because what I didn't want to do is become one of those guys that try to do things perfectly and, it take forever to do. And then I like to just go and we'll figure it out on the fly. We'll change things up on the fly. Let me take a sip because I'm saying something. Mm-hmm. 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 You just got to get out there and go, man. And that's the type of cat I am, man. I'm going to get out there and go. If I got to change something, I'll kind of sit with it for a while and change it on the fly, man. But you got to get out there and go, man. So like I said, the plan that I haven't committed to yet, I'm going to sit with it a little longer, is I'm going to drop 6 episodes a month. 4 of them free. And that $3 a month will give you access to my 2 paid episodes that'll be on Patreon, that'll be on Apple. Themed podcasts. It's funny how when you just get to working, things will kind of work itself out. Theme podcasts. Last week was my birthday. I usually record on Fridays. Like right now is a Friday. But, last week was my birthday. Took the family to Austin, man. Put the baby mama in the whip, put the baby in the whip. We drove to Austin. And I bought my recording equipment, and I said, you know what I'm going to do, man? When we get to the hotel, and everything gets settled down and I kind of wind down, the family do what they do, I'm going to go in like the business room or the conference room and I'm going to record me a podcast, man. That didn't happen. Now, thank God, I keep a stash of podcasts. The podcasts I've done before this one, I have all the episodes. I did it for a year straight, have all 50-some episodes. Then before I started this podcast, I was going to do another type of a podcast. I wasn't sure, so I recorded 2 episodes. And I dropped one of those episodes last week. That episode was called How is Your Mental Health? Guess what? That episode dropped Sunday. Sunday was May 2nd, I believe. Guess what the month of May is? The month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I said, wow, that's a coincidence, or did that happen for a reason? And with me wanting to do these theme podcasts, I said, you know what? The theme for this month will be mental health. Just makes sense. So what I'm going to talk about today is mental health, and I'm going to try to give you 2 more mental health podcasts for this month, man. But I want to talk about, like I said, I want to talk about mental health, but I want to talk about mental health from like a work standpoint, man. Because we all work these jobs, right? We all work jobs, and, the majority of us do not work jobs that are our dream jobs, right? A lot of us want it to be, I know what did I want to be, man? I used to want to be an R&B singer. I used to want to be a basketball player. Then I realized I couldn't hoop. I wanted to go to the NFL. And man, all black kids want to go to the NFL and basketball. We got to show them a different way, man. Shout out to technology, because our youth are seeing different ways to make it out. Example, I think I spoke on it podcast before last, but like with podcasting, man, if you can just build an audience and have a subscription model, you can monetize that audience, man. If you have 5,000 people that's willing to spend $3 a month with you, that's like $180,000 a year. That's my goal. That's my mission. But who's working their dream job, man? Come on, man. You didn't go to school to be an administrative assistant. You didn't go to school to be a manager at Papados. That's not what you went to school for. You just happen to, once you graduated, man, because your job wasn't really just focused, or excuse me, your career, your college education, or whatever you were studying, it was just, you were just trying to get a degree because you were told that, you get a degree, you go work somewhere for 30 years and you good. Times have changed. But a lot of us got these degrees, man, and we found, and when we got in the real world, we found out that, these degrees weren't just, putting us where we wanted to be. So we kind of just happened to fall into certain spots, right? When I got my degree, I wasn't planning on being a teacher. My thing was, oh man, I can't be dealing with nobody's kids. Then I got my degree. I worked for Harris County in the engineering department, but on the blue collar side, working in the field. And I think my paycheck was around $700 and some every 2 weeks. I had to go work another job to put with that to make it something. And it was just, and that was me having a degree. Now, my benefits were incredible, but I mean, $700, I didn't feel valued there. I think my mental health was challenged before I knew the term mental health. I remember seeing that my check at that time, this was around the time when I first started there. I remember seeing that my check was around $500-$600 or something, and I darn near just broke into tears in the back of the truck. It was just a weird experience for me, man. But that pushed me to like go better myself, and I stumbled upon teaching. Now, teaching is something I enjoy doing. Is it my passion? Yes, but not teaching a school's curriculum. See, this podcasting, this is me teaching. When I write blogs, that's me teaching. When I do live events, that's me teaching. Those are more my passions. But me standing in front of a chalkboard or a whiteboard trying to teach your child how to do multiplication, or telling him what a noun is, telling her what subject predicate is, that's not my passion. I don't feel like that's what I was put on this earth to do, right? So when we talk about mental health, man, my first question is, because a lot of us give our all to these jobs that's not our dream jobs, and the first question that I ask is, do you work your dream job? The majority of us will say no. Let me take a sip. I am still here. The majority of us will say no. Right? So it's like, man, why are we? But we'll get more into that, okay? So I'm just gonna be talking about, man, how you can kind of somewhat manage your mental health while working a job, man, because these jobs are stressful. Think about it. Some of you work jobs where you could tolerate that job. Some of you actually working your dream job. You're doing what you were born to do. There's some of you hate your job. I've been in a position where I hated my job. I've been in positions where I, just kind of tolerate my job. I don't think I've ever been in a position where I've done like, man, I'm getting paid to do what I was born to do. Except for when I've done like live events, and I got paid for it. I put my own events together and got paid for it. But it wasn't life-changing money. I would get that $100, $200 and then find myself back to working a job that I can tolerate, man. But in asking, do you love your job? And the majority of you say no. I just kind of want to share ways that you can kind of manage your mental health and kind of, just kind of be cool and, kind of put yourself in a space to where you're not just going crazy and you could kind of figure things out. One, I am an advocate for taking breaks. Take a break. I'm a teacher, man. I'm a behavior teacher. I deal with kids who everybody's not like on my campus. Everybody is not equipped to deal with my kids. There are maybe 3 people on that whole campus that can deal with my kids. If my kids get upset, they may call you out your name. You might have to square up with my kids. Not everybody is physically or mentally able to deal with that. These are my kids. I'm used to this. This is what I signed up for. And sometimes I find myself having to remove myself from my children before it becomes a situation that's not good for either one of us. So I have to take breaks. I encourage you to take breaks. With my kids, and this isn't going to be a whole podcast about my kids or what I do, but this is where I work, and I'm trying to help you manage your mental health at work. I'm dealing with broken kids. I'm dealing with trauma-filled kids for maybe 6 hours a day. You know, for lunch, they don't stay with me unless they're just having the worst day ever, or they just, they just want to stay with me. I'm stuck with my kids. I don't really get too much of a break from my kids. Now think about it. I'm dealing with trauma-filled, broken kids. Let me just give you an example. One kid hasn't seen his mother in a year, and his mother's in a hospital, and she's, some people don't know if she's going to make it or not. If you're that kid, you're probably going to act out. I have one kid who hates his father. And he lives with his father. And he hates living with his father. And he wants to see his father hurt physically. There's trauma there. I have another kid who has no respect for his mother, doesn't respect himself, so he doesn't respect anybody else. That's trauma. I'm around that all day, every day. I have to take breaks. When those kids have one other class a day, outside of being with me all day, they have one other class a day. You know what I do when they go to that one other class? I leave the building and I go walk. I leave the campus. I will walk to Walgreens. I will walk to Office Max. I will walk to, wherever. I just go walking. I need a break. I need to feel the air hit me in the back of the head. I need to see the sky. I need to hear cars driving around. I need to see something positive and beautiful. I have to take a break. I can't let that place consume me. Some of you are letting your job consume you. That's not good for your mental health. Take a break. If you can find the time to nap, I think you should take a nap. Go sit in your car. Get away from your office, your desk, whatever you... Go sit in your car. Let the seat back. Turn the AC on. Turn your music on, low to where you can just have some in the background. Go to sleep. Take a break. Go to sleep. Do not let that job consume you. It's not your dream job. It's not your purpose. We're going to get our mental health in order at these jobs, man. Let me sip. Let me sip. Don't hang around everybody. People are negative. Imagine you just around your coworkers all day and they just, yeah, man, I hate this job, man. But they keep showing up. Their mental health is being tampered with. You're going to feed off of that, and your mental health is going to be tampered with. You're going to feel trapped. Take a break. Take a nap. And don't hang around everybody. Don't talk to everybody. I'm big on that. Everybody's energy be kind of, I can't do everybody's energy, man. I'm a big energy guy. I cannot do everybody's energy, man. Sometimes my energy and your energy just ain't gonna mesh. And it's cool. We don't have to, we don't have to be best of friends. We don't have to be cool like that, man. Take a break. Take a nap. Don't hang around everybody like that, man. Because everybody's energy, some people's energy just be off, and you. If you find that your job is stressing you out like that, you hate showing up to work. I remember a guy telling me that every time he come around the corner to get to work, he started having headaches. That means it's time to look for something else. Because not only is this job affecting your mental health, it's affecting your physical health. This is not your dream job, dog. It is time for you to look for something else. And that's okay. You don't have to retire there. That job may have just been a stepping stone for you, man. You may have just, they was hiring. They was the only one that would hire me right now, so I get my experience up. You ain't got to retire from there, man. It's okay for you to move on. That is perfectly fine. You may have made some friends. Oh, man, I made some friends, man. I don't want to leave my friend. Man, they got all kinds of social media, man. You keep up with your friends on Facebook, Instagrams, TikTok, all that, man. You got their phone number. You got their email. Y'all will be all right. Take a break. Take a nap. Don't hang around everybody. And it's okay to look for something else, man. Here's something important I'm going to say right here. Don't bring your work home. I'm going to say that again. Don't bring your work home. Now, sometimes, work may spill over and, I don't know, maybe you feel like you have to, whatever. But try not to bring your work home. That is a sign of that job consuming you. You have a family that needs you. Man, I remember last year when the pandemic really first hit, man, this coronavirus and all that. Let me take a sip. I'm still here. Pandemic first hit, man. First hit crazy. As teachers, we were blessed to still have paychecks and still have jobs and all that. We were working from home. I was thinking like, man, okay, we'll be able to stay at the house, man. I don't have to put gas in my car. I could be with my child. I don't have to pay for daycare. It's going to be all good. Man, that district gave us work on top of work on top of work. I would have rather have been physically at the school doing it than to be at home and they give us this extra work. That was their way of kind of making sure, we got to make sure they working and not taking advantage of things. Man, I tell you what. I would come work in the garage, still have work to do when work was over. Or better yet, I would go in for a break. My daughter would be with her hands out like, hey, man, I don't care what you got going on at work, but you got to pick me up. And that showed me that work is not more important than your family. Because see, check this out, man. Your job will get rid of you, but you're always going to be a father. You're always going to be a son. You're always going to be a daughter. You're always going to be a mother. I may not always be a teacher. I may not always work in this specific district. But my daughter is always going to be my daughter, no matter what. I don't care how mad she get with me. She ain't leaving me. And that showed me, man, when it's time to, which is leading me to my next point. You got to know when to go home too, man. Your job pay you to work from 8 to 4, but you staying from 8 to 7, 8 to 8. Why your family got to take an L because of that job, man? Protect your mental health. You're important too. That work that they're giving you is important, I guess, whatever, depending on what you do. But your health is important. Take a break. Take a nap. Don't hang around everybody. Be open to looking for a new job if you need to. Don't bring your work home. Know when to go home. I hope y'all enjoyed today's show, man. I just wanted to share some strategies with you when it comes to, protecting your mental health, man, while in the workplace. And, just know that job is not you don't have to be consumed with that job. That job isn't the end all be all for you, man. If you lose that job or if you move on from that job, it's not the end of the world. It's just a job. See, you'll mess around, have a stroke at your job. You'll mess around, have a heart attack at your job, stressing about that job. You'll mess around, end up dying. Some people will show up at your funeral. Some people will, give a GoFundMe to your kids, but they'll move on with their life. They're going to find somebody else to work that job. Protect your mental health. That job is not worth you going crazy and losing your mind, man. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to title this one, but I know it's going to be called Is Your Mental Health Okay? Then it's going to have the colons and say something else. Pause on colons. But this is Mental Health Month, man, and we're going to make sure that we kind of, stay on top of that, and because that's important, man. We have to make sure that we're okay. We have to make sure that we're here for our families. We have to make sure that we're not stressing ourselves out, man. This was the Inspired by Christopher podcast, man. You can check out my website, InspiredByChristopher.com. Subscribe to my Patreon. If you have Apple and you haven't subscribed to my Patreon just yet, you can wait till my Apple subscription comes. I'm cool with that. Just make sure you support a brother. If you appreciate the content, this content is valuable to you, share it with somebody. Subscribe to it. Shoot me $3 a month. I got my Cash App here. Check this out. You may not want to subscribe to the Patreon. That's fine. If you enjoy the content, shoot me a blessing in the Cash App. The Cash App information. Tap that link tree that's under this episode, and you could tighten me up, man. No excuses. But y'all know what it is, man. This is the Inspired by Christopher podcast, man. I'm your host, Christopher Robinson. Y'all mucho, take it easy, man. See y'all next week.